due to the influence of that light from the upper brilliance. Through its light, all those engaged in it bestow with divine providence, for upper light and abundance above reason are abundant with the secrets of Torah, meaning secrets and concealments of the Torah. Since it is influenced from there, that connection is called the Book of Zohar, meaning that it is abundant with that brilliance. Item 3 from Adir B'Marom. Here Rashbi composed the Book of Zohar, according to the illumination that reached him when he was being corrected in the cave. That is a great and awesome composition which reveals the depth of the secrets with great clarity about the Torah itself, and it is called the revelation of the Torah in its interior. Item 4 from Adir B'Marom. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was revealing the secrets of Torah while the friends were listening to his voice and connecting with him in this connection, and each were responding with their portion, as was done in the Mishnah by the Tanaim. And our holy Rabbi compiled all of them in the book of Mishnah. This is what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai wanted, that all the articles of his yeshiva students would be put together into a book, to be a commentary about the Torah, since all the collections speak about private matters. But the Zohar is written about the whole Torah, and it is called the Great Opening of the Collective of the Torah. And Rabbi Shimon commanded Rabbi Abba to write and arrange all the things that the sages speak about in the yeshiva, whenever and wherever they were, to arrange everything according to the Torah. Item 5 from Baal HaSulam, a speech for the completion of the Zohar. Rashbi and his generation, the authors of the Zohar, who were granted all 125 degrees in completeness, even though it was prior to the days of the Mashiach. It was said about him and his disciples, a sage is preferable to a prophet. Hence, we often find in the Zohar that there will be none like the generation of Rashbi until the generation of the Messiah King. This is why his composition made such a great impact in the world, since the secrets of the Torah in it occupy the level of all 125 degrees. Hi dear friends, we're not using our phones during the lessons unless you have a special position. If you have a question, please stand up and keep the microphone close to your mouth and speak clearly. We are now Parshat Truma, paragraph 718. We're reading Truma, which means donation, from 718.
השיעור מבוסס על סדרת ספרי זוהר לעם. ניתן להוריד את הספרים באתר קבלה לעם kab.co.il או להזמינם בטלפון 1-700-509-209.
אנחנו קוראים בספר
We are reading from the Zohar for Everyone on volume 5, portion donation or Truma, section 718. You can ask questions and questions will be asked.
Make efforts to be together and have our efforts in the connection between us in a way that we will be as suitable as possible for the reforming light that will influence us positively.
718. Lift up a song for him who rides through the prairies, means Binah, which rides over Zerampin. His name is Biah. It should have been written, he is Biah, if he revolves around Binah. What is his name? This verse was written about the most hidden of all that are hidden, the ancient Attic of all that are ancient, who is written from the upper Abba Ve'ima and more ancient than them. He is completely unrevealed and unknown, because his Chokhmah was completely hidden and does not illuminate below him whatsoever. He is riding in the prairies, which are Abba Ve'ima, Ko. If he is riding in Kufhei, even though he is concealed, is he about to be revealed? 719. Lift up a song for him who rides through the prairies. Is the most ancient of all that are ancient, and the most hidden of all who are hidden, who is unattainable and is not about to be revealed. In what is he riding? In the prairies of Kud Kofhei, in Abba Ve'ima, the first degree that came out of him, since Abba Ve'ima came out of Arichampin. This is the name of that hidden one, who is not known because his name is Yud Kei. This is why it is written, his name is Biah, and that's not that Avia Ve'ima themselves is his name. Rather, his name is Abba Ve'ima because that curtain that spread and came out from before him. Malchut that rose to the place of Binah Derosh Arirampin and made a Masach and a curtain there, the place of the end of the degree of Rosh de Arirampin, taking Binah and Tum Derosh Arirampin out to the Guf. But his name is a curtain because Malchut is called a name. And this is his Merkavah, the chariot or assembly, where by the curtain his dress is an Abba Ve'ima, and is therefore unknown at all because she is not revealed by them. Even though with respect to Abba Ve'ima and zzsolt, which are called Yud Kei, it is considered that Malchut, which rose to the place of Binah Derosh Arirampin, descended from there and returned to her place. Thus Binah and Tum Derosh Arirampin returned and rose from the Guf to the degree of Rosh de Arirampin, taking Kufhei, which are Abba Ve'ima and zzsolt, that were clothed in them, with them to Rosh Arirampin. Then it is considered that Arirampin rides through the prairies in Yud Kei. Yet, with respect to Arirampin himself, as well as with respect to Abba Ve'ima, it is considered that Malchut did not move from her place and still ends Rosh de Arirampin under the Chokhmah, for which he remained unattained by the lower ones. It was said that curtain, Malchut below the Chokhmah, is his name, and it is his Merkavah, which is why he is completely unknown, because he remained clothed in his ending Malchut. It is so even though regarding Abba Ve'ima and zzsolt. It is considered that this Malchut descended from there, that they raised Abba Ve'ima and zzsolt to him, and he rides in them. Yet he rides in them only through his name, which is the Malchut under the Chokhmah, who is called a curtain. For this reason, Arirampin and Abba Ve'ima remained as unattainable as prior to Malchut's descent. It follows that on the one hand the Chokhmah in zzsolt appears by Arirampin riding in Yud Kei, and on the other side Arirampin himself and Abba Ve'ima remained as unattainable as before. 720. This is his great name, Abba Ve'ima, with Malchut Da'arichampin clothed in them. There is a name that is not as great as he. The name Havaya, Zerampin, although there are additional letters in it. For Abba Ve'ima are called by only 2 letters, Yud K. Still, it is his great name. Therefore, we extend in this name and say Amen, which is extended from it. Amen walks in this name at all times, because the zivug of Abba Ve'ima never stops. And by another name, Zerampin, who is called Havaya, it is not so, because zivug zone ceases due to the sins of the lower ones. 721. This is the meaning of what we say, Amen, may his great name be blessed forever and ever. For when that name is established, all is in perfection, and all the worlds rejoice. Upper and lower are included in that name. The 613 mitzvot of the Torah are included in this name, which are all of the upper and lower secrets. It is the whole of the male world above, Zerampin, and the whole of the female world below, Malchut. This great name is Malchut Da'arichampin, who is clothed in Abba Ve'ima and zzsolt, which are called Yud K. For there are 2 actions in this Malchut, which, with respect to Arichampin and Abba Ve'ima, does not descend to her place and always illuminates the light of Chasadim. With regard to zzsolt, it is considered that during Gadlut she comes down to her place. By that, Binah and Tum Da'arichampin return to their places with Abba Ve'ima and zzsolt that are clothed in them, and receive Chokhmah from him. For all the Mochin de Gadlut in zzsolt and Zon, and in the 3 worlds Biyah, extend from that. Thus, Katznut, Gadlut, Chasadim, and Chokhmah all extend from his great name, which is the Malchut de Rosh Arichampin, that is clothed in Abba Ve'ima and zzsolt, as it is written, his name is Biyah. 722. All the mitzvot are parts and organs by which he shows the faith, divinity. One who does not notice and does not regard the secrets of the mitzvot of the Torah does not know and will not be able to look at how the organs are corrected in the upper one. All the organs of the body are established over the mitzvot of the Torah, because there are 248 organs corresponding to the 248 positive mitzvot, and 365 tendons corresponding to the 365 negative mitzvot. And although there are great and high orphans, some of which are small and inferior, if one of them is taken, even the smallest of the man, he is considered maimed. It is even more so with one who subtracts even a single mitzvah from this mitzvah Torah. 723. It is written, Then the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to cultivate it and keep it. To cultivate it and keep it are sacrifices. They are the mitzvot of the Torah. To cultivate it are the 248 upper organs. To keep it are the 365 lower organs, the 365 tendons. The upper ones are the remember, Zerampin. The lower ones are of keep, Malchut, and all is one. 724. Happy is he who is rewarded with complementing the mitzvot of the Torah. He causes man to complement his spirit and his soul in this world and in the next world. The Torah rewards man with inheriting 2 worlds, this world and the next world. Anyone who exerts in the Torah exerts in life in this world and life in the next world, and is saved from all the bad punishments which cannot reign over him. If his exertion in the Torah is so, it is even more so with one who does a deed and keeps the mitzvot of the Torah.
For a candle is a mitzvah, and Torah is light. Item 726. For a candle is a mitzvah, and Torah is light, and reproof for discipline is a way of life. For a candle is a mitzvah, anyone who exerts in this world in the mitzvot of the Torah, a single candle is set up for him in each mitzvah, to illuminate for him in that world. And Torah is light, means that one who engages in Torah is rewarded with the upper light from which the candle is lit. A candle without light is nothing. A light without a candle also cannot shine. It follows that they both need each other. For the work of the mitzvah to establish the candle is required, and the engagement in Torah to light the candle is required. Happy is he who engages in her, light, and in a candle. 727. And reproof for discipline is a way of life. A way of life by which to come into the next world, which are the rebukes that a man receives to remove himself from the bad way and walk by the good way. The way of life are those reproofs for discipline that the Creator brings upon a person to purify him from his iniquities with these rebukes. Happy is he who accepts them willingly. 727, 728. For a candle is a mitzvah, is a candle. David's light, which is a candle of mitzvah. The oral Torah, Malchut, which must always be corrected, and which illuminates only out of the written Torah, Zeranpin, since the oral Torah has light only out of the written Torah. 729. He looked behind him and saw the daughter of the inn's owner standing behind him. For a candle is a mitzvah, is a candle, which is a mitzvah, with which women are rewarded. It is a Sabbath candle, although women are not rewarded with the Torah, since the men are rewarded with the Torah, and illuminate for that candle, which the women correct with this mitzvah. The women with the correction of this candle, the men with the Torah, to light and to illuminate this candle, which is a correction of a mitzvah to which women are obliged. 730. That woman heard and cried. In the meantime, the father of the woman who was there rose and came between them, and saw his daughter standing behind them, weeping. Her father asked her, and she told him the story. The woman's father began to cry as well. Rabbi Yossi told him, perhaps your son-in-law, your daughter's husband, was not rewarded with the Torah. He replied, this must be so, and this is indeed why me and my daughter are always crying. 731. Because one day I saw that he jumped from this attic to hear the Kaddish with the public. I wished to give my daughter to him. And soon after the public left the synagogue, I gave my daughter to him. For I said that with this jump, that he came to listen to the Kaddish, it became apparent that he would be a man of greatness in the Torah. And although he was a child and I did not know him previously, I gave my daughter to him. But he does not even know the blessing for the food, and I cannot study with him among the friends to learn the Shema, reading, or the blessing for the food. 732. Rabbi Yossi replied to him, change him for another, or perhaps he will bear a son who will be great in the Torah. In the meantime, the hotel's landlord's son-in-law rose, leaped toward them, and sat before them. Rabbi Yossi looked at him and said, I certainly see in this child that a light of Torah will come out of him to the world, or that a son will be born from him. That boy laughed and said, gentlemen, I will tell you one thing. 733. He started and said, I am young of days, and you are old. Therefore I crawl, and I fear your views of me. The greatest of the world have commented on this verse, but Elihu, of whom it is written that he was from the Ram family, they commented that he came from the descendants of Abraham. And yet Eliyahu was a priest from the descendants of Ezekiel, the prophet. For it is written, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, and it is written there, Ezekiel, the priest, the son of Buzi. 734. And if you say that because it is written, Buzi, scorn, there was scorn over the families, it is not so, for he repeatedly said that he was from the Ram, high exalted family, meaning higher than all. He's called Buzi because he despises himself before those who are greater than him. This is why Ezekiel rose in the upper name, Buzi, for Ezekiel is called a man who is whole in everything, which no other man is called. 735. This is why he said, I am young of days. He said, of days. Should he not have said, from days? But I am young, for I diminished myself of days in the face of a person who has many days. Because I said, days shall speak. Therefore I am young, for I diminished myself before days. And you are old. I have seen you old. Therefore I crawled, and I was fearful of your views of me. I too said, days shall speak, and many years shall teach wisdom. But it is the spirit in man and the breath of the Almighty that gives them understanding. For this reason, because I am a child, I have made it my will not to speak for 2 months. And this day they were completed. And now that you are here, I should unlock the words of Torah before you. 736. For a candle is a mitzvah, and Torah is light, and reproof, for discipline is a way of life. For a candle is a mitzvah, is a mishnah. As it is written, the Torah and the mitzvah, the Torah is the written Torah, zeranpin, and this mitzvah is a mishnah, malchut, who is a candle that is about to light it, since Malchut has no light of her own and needs Zeranpin to light her and shine in her. 737. Why is Malchut considered a candle? When Malchut receives from the 2 arms of Zeranpin, the 2 lines, right and left, the 248 upper organs, the chasadim of the 248 positive mitzvot, she opens both her arms toward them, her 2 lines, right and left. At that time, these 2 arms are included in the 248 organs, becoming 250 in Gematria. And this is why she is called Ner, a candle, 215 Gematria. And Torah is light because the Torah illuminates for this candle, and the candle is lit up from her, from the side of the first light, right, since the Torah was given from the right side, which is the first light. It is written, on his right was a fiery law, meaning she was given from the right, and although the left was included in her. Are there any questions?
רש זין בימין קוף ג' בשמאל.
Don't forget that we are together, and that way the reforming light will influence us and help us. 207 on the right, 103 on the left, 703. This first light was included in 207 worlds, hidden under light and spreading in all of them. These 207 worlds are on the right, under the upper hidden throne, Bina. The 103 worlds are on the left, which combined are 310. These are the ones that the Creator always establishes for the righteous, and several desirable treasures expand from these. They are all hidden, for refining the righteous for the next world with them. It is written about those to bequeath those who love me with substance, and that I may fill their treasuries. It is also written about them, neither has the eye seen a God besides you. 3 points, Cholam, Shuruk, and Hirik, come out in Bina, which are 3 lines in her. Upon the exit of the 2 points, Cholam, Shuruk, the 2 lines, right and left, a state of Horaim, posterior is made in Bina, since before the right and left were included in one another, the right line was missing Gar, the Holam. The left line is Gar, Chochma, but for lack of Chasadim, the Chochma does not illuminate, and since they are both deficient, they are regarded as a Choraim de Bina. Afterwards, when the point of Hirik came out, the middle line, and determined and included the two lines, right and left, in one another, it is considered the state of Panim, of Bina. For then the right line was completed with Gar through the inclusion with the left. Also, the left line was completed with Chasadim through the inclusion with the right line, and both were filled in appropriate wholeness. However, even after the elicitation of the Panim, when she already has three lines, the state of Achoraim still remains in her because there is no absence in the spiritual. Moreover, the whole of the Chochmah that illuminates in the state of Panim extends from the state of Achoraim. And since the middle line has already been expanded, the three lines are also regarded as being in a state of Achoraim. Two lines, the right and the middle, are regarded as the point of Holam on the right. Since they are missing Gar, the left line is considered the point of Shuruk, which is deficient of Chasadim, as they were in the state of Achoraim. The state of Achoraim, the Bina, is regarded as having Yud Shin worlds in it, 207 on the right and 103 on the left. This is so because Shin, 300 in Gematria, implies three lines, Shin, in each of which are 100 Sfirot. For the Sfirot of Bina are 100. Yod implies the level of 10 Sfirot, which are Gar and Zat. It follows that the two lines of Shin, which are the right and the middle, which are on the right, are Reish, and he took 7 Sfirot from the level without the Gar, so together they are 207. The left line of the Shin, the point of Shuruk, is Chochmah without Chasadim, 100. He took from the level Gar without Zat, Chochmah without Chasadim, and together they are 103. And 207 and 103 together are Yod Shin, 310 in Gematria. They are called Olamot, worlds, from the word Elem, concealment, since the two sides are deficient and there is concealment in them, so that the state of Achoraim that remains at the time of illumination of Panim, the Bina, is regarded as Yod Shin, worlds, 207 worlds on the right and 103 on the left. The Chochmah extends only from the state of Achoraim by having the Creator, middle line, always correcting the two lines, including them in one another. By that they are each filled by his deficiency, and all the beauty and all the refinement come in illumination of Chochmah. The Chochmah comes from the state of Achoraim, Yod Shin, and through the middle line the deficiency in each is filled, as it is written, that I may fill their treasures.
ועל ידי קו האמצעי מתמלא החסר שבכל אחד.
739. Yod Shin are Shin Yod, 310 worlds that are hidden under the next world, Bina. These 207 worlds on the right side are called the first light, since even the light of the left is called light, but it is dark light, which does not bear offspring. And since the light of the right precedes the light of the left, it is called the light of the right, which is Chesed, the first light. But the first light is destined to bear offspring for the next world. But for the next world, which is Bina, and not more, indeed it bears offspring even each day, even in the degrees of Serampin, who is called day. For if there were no light in Serampin, the world, Malchut, would not be able to exist. As it is written, I said, a world of Chesed shall be built, in the first light called Chesed.
A friend from Petah Tikva is asking, that you direct us, that everything is within us and nothing's outside of us. But then sometimes you say we should search within us and it's between us. How can actually you should just sort that out?
Between us, other than the ego, there is nothing. If we're talking about a person, then there's a system of 10 that are tied together in a correct way. And that system is called Adam. And that's what's written about Adam. The Adam, the beast and the creator, and it's all from, it's not talking about anything other than 10. And it needs to reach the point where you are in equivalence of form with the creator, and you can only get there if you work through the 10. In the wisdom of Kabbalah, in the times of Abraham, and until the Hasidim and Baal Shem Tov, and Rav Kook and Baal Sulam and Rabash, and there is nothing else. There's nothing else. To get to the equivalence of form, you have to have that framework, and that framework is the 10. Okay, we'll continue.
Light is sown regularly. 740. That first light, the Creator sowed it in his Garden of Eden in Malchut and made it row by row, dividing it by lines on the hand of the righteous, the garden of the garden, who took that light and sowed that seed of truth, making it row by row in the garden, Malchut. It produced, grew, bore fruits from which the world is nourished, as it is written, a light is sown for the righteous. 741. It is written, as a garden causes what is sown in it to spring up. Who is what is sown in it? Those are the sown, the first light, which is always sown. Now it begets and bears fruit, and now it is sown as before, until the world eats that fruit. This sown begets. It follows that he gives fruits and does not sit still, and therefore the whole world is nourished by the giving of the gardener, who is called righteous, zzsolt zerampin, who does not sit still and never stops. Yesod de gadlut de zerampin, when Zon clothe upper Abba ve'Ema. The elicitation of the 3 points, Holam, Shuruk, Chirik, through 3 diminutions, one by one, is called 3 sowings. The first light that was in Binah was diminished and sown one at a time, first in Cholam, then in Shuruk, and then in Chirik, by an order of 3 lines. This is considered sowing, for each act of concealing, which at its end is inverted into a greater disclosure, is regarded as sowing and growing. It is similar to concealing and decaying the wheat of in the soil. The concealing turns into disclosure because more wheat stalks are born out of that act. Also, there are 3 sowings here, and then begins the growth, where the 2 lines, right and left, unite in one another by the middle line, and the lights are filled and complemented. Additionally, all the mochin and abundance that come out in the worlds come in sowings of 3 points, Cholam, Shuruk, Chirik, and their growing. And since the vitality of the worlds continues at all time, as we learn, who always and each day renews the work of creation with his goodness, it follows that the sowing and the growing of the 3 points does not stop either. 742. Except when Israel are in exile. After all, it is written about the exile as water ends in the sea. Malchut is called sea, and a river becomes parched and dried up, is Yesod, the river that comes out of Eden. Hence, how does it bear offspring? But it is written, sown, which means that it is always sown, even during the exile. From the day when that river stopped coming into the garden, Yesod, who is called a gardener, no gardener entered it, and that light, which is always sown, bears fruit, for it was sown from it and from itself to begin with, and it is never quiet. Like a garden that bears offspring, and from that first sowing falls in its place once more, for during the harvesting of the field, seeds fall into the ground, making offspring for itself as before. This sown one never stops. While the temple existed, there was a zivug of the big Zon, who permanently clothed upper Abba ve'Ima. It follows that Yesod de Zerampin de Gadlut imparted the three sowings to the Malchut ceaselessly. But during the exile, this zivug de Gadlut stopped. As it is written, as water ends in the sea, and a river becomes parched and dried up. And although there is the ascent of Zon to Abba ve'Ima, there, during the exile, such as on Shabbat, Sabbath, it is not regarded as the coming of the gardener into the garden because it is impermanent. However, it is necessary that even during the exile there is the upper zivug to sustain the worlds. This zivug is considered the zivug of the little Zon, which are both only right and left in Malchut herself. The small Zerampin is only the right in Malchut and is regarded as the Malchut, and the abundance extends from it to Malchut to sustain the worlds. But the gardener, the big Yesod de Zerampin, does not impart during the exile, hence the abundance is small during the exile. The value of this abundance with respect to the abundance during the temple is as the value of the sowing of the field by the aftergrowth, which is sown by itself, compared to the field that is sown by a gardener. 743. And Torah is light. The Torah was given from the first light, and so it is always sown in the world, bearing fruits and never keeping still. And the world is fed by her fruit. 744. And reproof for discipline is a way of life. These are two ways. One is a way of life, and the other is the opposite of it. The mark of a way of life is reproof for discipline, since when the Creator wishes to keep his way of life, he places someone to strike for it and reprove the people of the world. It is as it is written, and the blaze of the sword that turns every way to keep the path of the tree of life. Therefore, a way of life is reproof for discipline. For one in whom there is reproof, meaning suffering, is certain to be evoked to walk by that way of life where there is reproof for discipline. 745. For a candle is a mitzvah and Torah is light, and reproof for discipline is a way of life. The beginning of the verse is not as its end, and its end is not as its beginning. It begins with the light of Torah and mitzvah, and ends with reproof for discipline. However, everything is in this verse faith, malchut. A candle is a mitzvah, is keep, and the malchut, and Torah is light, is remember, zerampin. And reproof for discipline is a way of life, are the decrees and the punishments in the Torah. It is all faith for the correction of Malchut, and one needs the other, so everything will be as it should be. Light, water and firmament. 746. It is written about Aaron in regarding to the light that lights and illuminates for that candle, Malchut, when you mount the candles, for it comes from the side of that light, of which it is written, let there be light, and there was light. It is written, let there be light. Why is there a need to write, and there was light? Let there be light is the first light, right, chesed, the quality of Aaron, the priest, for the end of the right. And there was light is the left that comes out of the right, because out of the right comes forth the left. For this reason, and there was light is left. Let there be light is the point of cholam, the right line, from which the expansion in Yod that enters the light of Binah and makes Avir begins. And there was light is a light that has already been. Yud that diminished the light of Binah into Avir, Malchut that rose to the place of Binah and came out of there once more to its place, turning the Avir of Binah back to being light. This is the point of Shuruk, the left line. Thus, let there be light is the first light, which remains in Binah, at the point of Cholam, Avir, Chesed, and there was light is the left line, the point of Shuruk. 747. This means that the first "and there was" that is written in the Torah is on the left side. For this reason, "and there was" is not a sign of blessing, because on the left line comes out darkness, the angel of death, the evil inclination which darkened the face of the world. It is so because when Esav and his deeds were found, he was in this "and there was," as it is written, and Esav was a skillful hunter, and in "and there was," the skillful hunter was sustained, who knew how to hunt hearts, to lure the people of the world from walking in the straight path. 748. And God saw that light, that it was good, that this is the pillar that stands in the middle line, which stands and grips to this side and to that side, determining and uniting the right and left in one another, as was the wholeness of three sides. 3 lines. It is written that it was good about it, which was not so in the other 2 lines, right and left, implied in the words, "Let there be light," and there was light. It is not written about them that it was good, since there was no wholeness until the 3rd light, that of the middle line, which completed all the sides. And when this 3rd one came, it parted the division of the right and left, as it is written, and God divided the light from the darkness. The right is the light, and the left is the darkness. The middle line made peace between them, and they were included in one another. Thus both were completed. 749. Regarding there being 5 degrees, Chagat Nehi, that stretched and expanded from the first light, it is written about it on the first day light 5 times, all from the right side, where all our 5 Sferot, Chagat Na, are dominated by the right Chesed. When they were included in the left side, they were included in the water that journeys from the right, since the right thaws the freeze on the left and turns it into liquid water. For this reason, on the second day of the work of creation, which is left, it is written water 5 times, corresponding to the Chagat Na on the left line. When right and left were completed in the middle line, the firmament, it is written firmament 5 times, corresponding to the Chagat Na in the middle line. Hence, light, water and firmament correspond to 3 degrees, right, left and middle, in each of which the 5 degrees Chagat Na are included. This is why light, water and firmament are written 5 times in each. 750. In which light, water and firmament was the shape of man depicted and carved in engravings? Initially, he is light from the right line, then water from the left line, and then the middle line expanded between them, the firmament, the carving of the engraving of the shape of man. 751. It is similar to the engraving of the depiction of the shape of a person when he is born. In the birth of a person, he is first a semen, light, for the light of all the organs of the body is the semen, as it is written, a light is sown, which is that actual semen. It is the sowing of the point of Cholam and the right line. Afterwards, the semen, which is called light, expands and becomes water, the point of Shuruk and left line. In the moisture of the water, it is engraved further and expands an expansion into those waters, the expansion of the shape of the body to all the sides. Once the depiction, shape and form of the body were engraved, the expansion congealed and was called a firmament, the point of Chirik and the middle line. This is the firmament in the midst of the waters. And once it was congealed, it is written, and God called the firmament heaven, for the moisture of the body that was in the water had already congealed. Then the man was completed, meaning Zerampin, heaven, and his Havayah filled with Aleph, Yud, K, Vav, K, which is Adam, man in Gematria. Thus, the birth of man is similar to the emanation of Zerampin from Binah. Moisture means that one entered the boundary of the other, as is the nature of what is moist. Congealing means that each maintains its boundary and does not enter the zone of the other, as is the nature of what is dry. 752. Once the body was sorted and cleaned in cleaning, the moisture that extends and remains of it is the waste that is done by fusion. These are the bad and murky waters from which the waste, which slanders the entire world, the sitra achra, is done, and which became male and female. Afterwards these murky waters came down, fused below on the left side, and the male and female of the Sitra Achra came out to slander the entire world. Happy is he who is saved from them. Prior to the arrival of the middle line, the firmament, the right and the left were moist. They were disputed because each entered the zone of the other and wished to annul the other. When the middle line came in, it diminished the left by the power of the Masach Dechirig in it, and made peace between them. The right would shine from above downward, and the light only from below upward. By the power of the Masach of the middle line, which is called firmament, he congealed these boundaries and will not go through. It was said that the congealing was done by the force of the firmament. However, the congealing was not completed above in Binah, but only once the middle line descended to its place, which is Zerampin. By that you will understand that that moisture that remained in the body and did not congeal is waste, for it indicates that those parts did not accept the decision of the middle line, and the right and left in them are as disputed as prior to the arrival of the middle line. Thus the male and female of the Klipot were made of her. However, this was not done in the place of the world of Atzilot, but below, in Biyah, when they descended from there to Biyah and clung to the left, wanting to annul the right. Then they went out to slander the entire world because they wished to cancel the Chasadim from which the world was built.
753. Once the slander was out, it is written, "Let there be lights," without a vav, such as a cuss or a curse, extending the disease of diabetes in children, killing the children who tasted no sin, for the sins of the progenitors, and the light of the moon waned. Afterwards, it is written, "And let them be for lights, in wholeness, both of them together." They were completed through the firmament of the heaven, the middle line, Tiferet Zerampin, since when Malchut rose and bonded with the firmament of the heaven, then, and let them be for lights, meaning that both became complete lights together, completely unblemished. It is so because Zerampin is the sun, the right line, and Malchut is the moon, the left line, and they were included and completed from one another through the middle line, Tiferet Zerampin. 754. That child began to laugh. He was glad. He told them, "My saying that here the matter of man was sorted, in the light that he had sown, and then the water was done, and from those waters the firmament, which is the form of man, expanded. As I commented, this is right. This is done in a woman's intestines, since the semen is depicted only inside the intestines of the nukva, to expand the shape of man in her. But here, if those 5 degrees of negatna, of light, water, and firmament are the shape of a man, thus in which place did this shape expand and was depicted inside the water? 755. He was not depicted inside the female, who is the next world, Bina, since his depiction and shape were not properly formed until they went outside the Bina, and were then shaped and congealed. It is so because the congealing is by the diminution in Masach Deherik in Zeranpin that rose to Bina in the middle line. The force of the Masach in Zeranpin cannot govern in Bina's place, Gar, in its full force, but only after it comes out of her to its place. The next world, Bina, is the craftsman of the entire work of creation, Elohim, that is written there, as it is written, and Elohim said, "Let there be light," and there was a light. And also, and God said, "Let there be a firmament." Thus Bina is the craftsman, the emanator, who makes the depiction of light, water, and firmament. So how can you say that the depiction and form were made in Bina? 756. The shape of man was not formed in the Nukva below, Malchut, since there was still no Malchut. Later, when the shape of this man emerged in the light, water and firmament Zeranpin, the Nukva went out with him, for the shape of man was not formed in her. Thus, in which place did the seed of light, water, and firmament was depicted to become an engraving of the shape of man? 757. This must be a high secret. Adam Harishon, Zeranpin de Atzilut, light and water, and firmament, engraved and depicted without a nukva, the second man, Adam de Beriah, engraved and depicted inside the nukva, Malchut de Atzilut, from the force and the semen of Adam Harishon. 758. The Zohar interprets its words, Adam Harishon is Zeranpin. The engraving of the depiction and the form of the body was not in the nukva, and was without any depiction at all, for it was not shaped or congealed while still in Bina, to be worthy of being called a form. It was depicted and engraved below the next world, below Bina, without a male and without a female. Rather, these 22 letters of Zeranpin that divided into 3 lines in it were shaped and congealed inside the measure. The Masach Deherik in the middle line, which is called a firmament, for which the letters were congealed, and in which man was depicted and engraved. The letters on the straight path in the order that came out of the first light in Bina, the 7 letters from Aleph to Vav, the right line, were drawn to the measure in the firmament and began to be engraved and depicted. And this light was sewn inside the firmament, Zeranpin, inside the measure, the Masach, and the measuring line within it. And once the light, the right line, arrived into the measure, the left line was extended in it, and the light returned to being water, in water there. Afterwards, a proper form expanded in the firmament, the middle line itself, by the 2 lines that illuminated and were included in it, in the depiction of man, which was sufficiently shaped and congealed. And then the 2 lines, right and left, were shaped as well. 759. Once the nukva was adorned, meaning built by Abba V'Ima, and Zeranpin and nukva returned to being panim ve'panim, that shape of man, Zeranpin, came by craving for the nukva. There, in the nukva, the second man of Beriah was engraved and depicted as his form. It is written about him, and begot a son, in his own likeness, after his image, since Adam Rishon below corresponds to Zeranpin, and the second Adam, who is his son, Seth, corresponds to the second Adam of above. This was depicted inside Nukva de Zeranpin, which the first Zeranpin was not, since the first was himself depicted in the measure inside the measure, which is the Masach Deherik in itself and not in the Nukva. Rav, questions?
The desire to receive is like an egg, like the man, as he goes all the disturbances, and he meets are very big compared to the...
I don't hear the question.
Why are the disturbances so heavy?
They're not heavy. They just don't want to be resolved in the correct manner through the 10. That's it. They're not heavy, they're very light, very simple. And if we overcome them together, they're easy. If not, it's impossible. What's mean? Together through connection. On their own, it's not even worth talking about. It's not even related to the disturbances from the Torah. Yes.
Can I?
In English.
Can I ask for to the Creator to deliver my friend if I see that myself I just want to receive and run away the campaign?
Repeat the end.
Run away the campaign.
אני יכול לבקש מהבורא שייתן לחברים אם אני רואה שאני רק רוצה לקבל.
ואני רואה ש I just want to run away.
ולברוח?
אני לא מבין בדיוק השאלה. אתה יכול...
I don't understand exactly the question. You can ask for the friends if you want that through your request the reforming light will come and influence them and correct them from above. Don't think that through you going and asking for the friends, you will stop to think about your own correction. You need to say that by thinking about the friends, I want it to be my correction.
I just feel that I just want for myself.
So ask that you have a desire to ask for the friends. This is called a prayer before a prayer. Really, for the friends, I don't want to pray. But there's a prayer before that the Creator will give me, please, the desire to pray for the friends.
How?
Just like that. That's enough. Just with your mouth.
We're reading this, so I feel like I need a remedy. I need help.
Think all the time. Right now we're reading. I don't hear anything. I don't understand anything. I have all sorts of... But I'm always thinking that it's a remedy that will influence me. And then I start to develop a prayer, a desire. And whatever is happening here now, I don't know. But we are together a bit? Yes. Wonderful. If we are going to ask together, yes. That the reforming light will correct us. That it will bring something. It will work in some way. What can we do? The problem is that alone we would have succeeded a lot, but we have to pray for the whole world. So it's different. That's one thing. But other than that, the tools, the kelim, the vessels are very heavy in our generation. It's a generation that's very difficult. Not because they're involved with themselves, but because the general view, the general coarseness that needs to be revealed is something new, that is revealing the whole humanity to that consciousness, to that scrutiny, to the even opposition. And so it's difficult. Yes.
And how do you transform this pain that you feel sometimes that you want to do the job but you are not able?
מה לעשות עם הכאב הזה שאתה מרגיש שאתה רוצה לעשות את העבודה אבל אתה לא מצליח, לא מסוגל?
How do you transform that into a prayer?
איך להפוך את הכאב הזה לתפילה.
Creator is making those calculations. Don't you worry. You do what you can, like a small child, and He will complete it. That's called a Creator will complete for me.
Like I have an example that the 10 cannot sit together in the morning lesson, and they need to deal with this. There is a desire to deal with this, but there's no success.
What do you mean there's no success?
What should be the basis of sitting and how should each of them relate to this problem?
If it's a 10, then it's not everyone on their own. You've already annulled the 10. The 10 means that there's no one voice. It's all together. Every one from the 10 is annulling themselves. So that it's like he doesn't exist. He is included in everyone. Everyone is included as one. Everyone is included in one another. And everyone's at the center of the 10. That's it. First of all. That's it. There's nothing that I annul myself, and everyone annuls himself, otherwise it's not a 10.
How can everybody sit down, and on what basis should they be discussing in order to deal with the problems? What should be our attitude towards this?
We don't have a problem other than one, that we have to commit the Creator to connecting us. That's it. To obligate the Creator to connect us. What? There's one problem. All the other things, they're not problems. We just don't even want to think about anything else. That's the problem. What? How? We will shout together, however we can. Everyone comes to sit with all sorts of problems. What do they want? Nothing. They hold their hands and they start to shout. Help us, connect us. No, we don't want anything. We just want this. Everyone wants to stop thinking about themselves and just feel together. To live the connection. That's it. Stop scrutinizing all sorts of calculations. There's no calculations. There's just a calculation with Him.
Let's
hope that really hope that we'll get to that. I really hope. I have a great hope for it. A hope. So with that, we got to 716.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים שרת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומנעים שרת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב שרת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב שרת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומנעים שרת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב ומנעים שרת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב שרת אחים גם יחד הנה מה טוב שרת אחים גם יחד טוב, מה מחר?
Okay, good. So what's tomorrow?
בבוקר 2:45